They don't show you this part in any other reviews. When anybody does a review like this, they don't show you any of the hard parts, the fighting, the frustration. This is real assembly of a silly little thing that shouldn't be that hard. All right, something new has just arrived from Amazon. It is our new dish strainer. And the reason we're getting a new dish strainer is because this right here doesn't really work for me. Because right now I just have some pretty simple dishes up here. And you know, we can create a lot more. And this just doesn't work because this top shelf should be kind of a strainer as well, in my opinion. So this new one here should have that function available. It should fit exactly across the sink. And you know, from time to time I do have to wash the crock pot, and I have no way of really putting the crock pot up here like I did on my old dish strainer. And I thought this was going to be a new improvement, but it's not. And it's kind of cool. It would be really cool if it was for basically like a single person living in a little tiny flat, but that's about it. I mean, it's really not that useful for me. I have a pretty good sized family with you know, it's me, my wife, my 2 daughters, and my son. That requires a lot more space to put dishes up to dry. So let's get this out and see what's inside this box. And just like that, Amazon sent me a box inside a box. That's kind of how they do things these days. So I get a big giant Amazon gift box so I can put more Christmas gifts in that, and my cats get something to play in while we're doing a video. Now I just got to figure out the combination to get inside the box. That wasn't too hard. So when we open the box, it does come really neatly packed. It's all wrapped in plastic, and it's got a little bit of plastic bands on there to keep everything intact. Now, just as a reminder, I live in Alaska, so everything has to travel a very long way to get here. So I feel really fortunate when things arrive in one piece. Just dropped something on the floor. Where'd it go? It's the instructions. I need these. Well, this doesn't look too bad in comparison to the last one that I did. The last one was the really pain in the butt process. Hopefully this one's going to go a whole lot faster than the other one, because it took me and my son about an hour to put that last one together. Had a lot of little bitty pieces and parts. Okay, what's the best way to get into you without making an absolute disaster in my house? Cut through this with a pair of scissors. I think my cats want to get in on the action too. So far this isn't too bad. Okay, we just about got the plastic off, and so far all the parts and pieces look like they're in good working condition. Okay, there's a lot of zip ties on all these, so I'm gonna have to go through and carefully get all the zip ties off. So many. There was 1, 2, this is number 3, 4, 5. Now the parts and pieces are starting to come out and make sense a little bit. Okay. Now the little bitty pieces that I have here, like the cup holders and silverware racks and all the little stuff, I'm gonna set to the side for right now. That way we can deal with them here in a little bit when we start to get everything together. There it is. I found the little bag of nuts and bolts. It's right here. And it's got a little wrench. It's got an Allen key. And let's see, it looks like some rubber feet. I only see 2 rubber feet. Hopefully that's not a problem. Let's get it together and see what happens. So far so good. Boy, there's a lot of little pieces here. It does take a little bit of figuring to get this all apart. It's like a big giant puzzle, and they did a really good job putting this together, by the way. We're gonna have to set some of this stuff across the room because I don't have enough room on my table. Now you're supposed to be able to pull this apart and stretch this out to the size of your sink. I wonder how long it's gonna take me to figure this out, because this is different. It's really stuck together well. So far I can't figure it out. I'm gonna have to read the instructions on this one, guys. Because no matter how much I do this back and forth, it doesn't really want to pull apart. So this is all supposed to pull apart. That way I can stretch this across the length of my entire sink. And here's the other piece. I believe this is the top. Oh, okay, there we go. This one moves just fine. This one moves really easy. The other one doesn't. But I should be able to adjust this after I get everything all set up. Now, once I can get this one apart and actually function like it's supposed to, because it's just supposed to slide back and forth, this could be a problem for some people if this doesn't move like it's supposed to. And I don't see any damaged pieces here. So this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I was not expecting this to be stuck. So it doesn't look damaged, it just looks a little bit too well put together. Why is that stuck? It's really hard to do a positive review on a product that gets stuck like this. I mean, I'm really getting nervous at this point. I'm not sure what I'm gonna think if I can't get this apart without a whole lot of fiddling. Let me go get a screwdriver and see if I can fix this situation. Well, okay, this doesn't appear to be quite as simple as I thought it was, because normally I can just slap these things together without looking at any instructions. So we're gonna go step by step and just get this thing put together as per the instructions. And the first thing is to put these two pieces together somehow. This is a really tight fit. And you don't want to go too far because of the hole. And then you got a hole down here. So this one piece here that slides on here, that end there is like a little C. And this end here just slides in the end. And it does take a little bit of figuring. See if I can do this one a little bit easier. Probably not. No. So the other side, what I did is I took this end here and I just kind of slid it down on top. That way it's sitting on there. And then I just rocked this one in there, just like that. And then now I can start pushing it together and hopefully get it somewhat in place before too long. But one thing I should mention is you need to be a little bit careful with this, because some of these edges here are a little bit sharp. Now the next step is to put these little shelvy things on. But that's not going to help me if I can't move this. This should move freely, and I don't know why it's not moving freely. I'm trying to see if there's any little locks that I'm not... Because sometimes there's some little locking tabs inside these things that help lock it in place. And I'm not seeing anything. And it seems like it's just this one side that's stuck. I'm gonna smack myself in the face if this thing pops free. It's definitely this one side that's stuck, and I'm not sure why this side is stuck. So after a few minutes, I actually got a screwdriver down in here inside the channel that was stuck, and I was able to free this up. So now it moves back and forth somewhat freely. And I gotta pay attention to this one here specifically, because I need to make sure that this one doesn't get stuck again until I get it to the proper size. That one can sit over there for a little while. I need to start getting all these nuts and bolts out. And it comes with quite a bit of hardware. So putting stuff together isn't exactly for you, then this might not be the product for you. But all of these, so far, every single one of these sink strainers that I've gotten, there is some assembly required on every single one. Right now I'm just taking the feet and I'm gonna install them on the bottoms here. Second one is done. Now I just need to figure out the hardware that goes in here, which one's the proper piece. Now we have different size bolts here. Some are shorter, some are a bit longer. Wow, one of those deals. It doesn't really show you exactly what's here for everything. So I guess I'm just gonna have to figure that out. So before I install any of those, I need to start getting these ready. Now this is the tricky part when you're trying to do these, especially if you don't have two people trying to help you. I think the easiest way to do it is kind of just lay it down like that. Figure out which way is front. So we're gonna go like that. And then we need to get this piece lined up over here. I need to take the shorter ones, I believe, for this here. And that's something the instructions doesn't tell you, is what length to put where. Okay, looks like the shorter screws go there. So far this is a little bit harder than I thought because my hands are really large and some of these spots seem a little bit small. And trying to get stuff lined up with really big fingers isn't always the easiest. So the hardest one for me to get to is the one that's like right down behind the grate, because I can't really get in there too well without dropping the little nut. Oh, this is not working out. It's like I planned. None of my videos ever go like I planned. Well, then again, I don't plan my videos. So, yeah, if I can get this on there, then everything will be fine. Okay. Oh, I was so close. We're going to try the Allen key on the end of this. And this is almost one of those situations where you're just like, really? Why is it this hard? I keep dropping it. All right. So I need to show you guys what I'm dealing with over here. Yeah, I just dropped another one. So the bolt I need to get to is right here. And you see the size of my finger in comparison. You try to put 2 of those sausages in there. And in order to hold on to it, I got to kind of be on both sides of this little rack. So that's making everything a whole big pain in the butt. But I will prevail in time. I'll figure out a way to do this. It doesn't help that these are really, really slippery. So I'm going to try this, see if this works. So I got a pair of pliers here. These are fishing pliers. I'm just going to try to hold these steady. I shouldn't have to do this, but oh, this isn't working because I need that tool that's way over here. This might work, this might not work, and it's already moving on me. I'll hold these little boogers good. I think I got it started. This might not be any easier with 2 people because you probably end up fighting. But so far, this is the hardest one. That one's getting tightened right away. So they give you this really handy dandy little tiny baby wrench, which is probably gonna get thrown in the garbage when I'm done. That's kind of how most of these go. But I wanna make sure I get these tight because I don't want anything falling apart. And I don't want to lose any of this hardware down the vents. Even the little Allen wrench is like super slippery. It's not oiled, it's just chrome and it's really awkward to hold. I think we're just about tightened up over here. There's only like 32 more of these to go. That's just one side. I didn't even get the other side yet, and I got a whole nother shelf to put on besides this one. Oh, wow. Okay, on these legs, you're gonna want to start with this top one first. It's just the easiest one to start. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this screw right on in here. Trying to get it to go all the way through is sometimes fun too. And you got to use the short ones for this, or else the nut itself, since the nut has got that little bit of chrome on it and a dome, it's going to bottom out quickly. That one started. I need to get the next 2 going. This side's not as hard because it doesn't have this rack that's hanging down low. So it's not nearly as hard as the other side. I can actually get my fingers in there. So if it's only that one that I had to fight with, that's not bad. Oh no, I'm gonna drop one of these down the heater vent and I'm never gonna find it again. So again, I'm having issues trying to get my big fingers in a tiny space. There we go. Oh, thank goodness. Little tiny wrenches, slippery little nuts and bolts, and a big giant man trying to put together slippery stuff. It's not working out very well. They don't show you this part in any other reviews. When anybody does a review like this, they don't show you any of the hard parts, the fighting, the frustration. This is real assembly of a silly little thing that shouldn't be that hard. And slippery. It's got the worst texture in the world. I mean, I could go out and get my own tools, but I'm trying to do this assembly with the tools that are supplied. You know, because if some little old lady orders this thing, she's going to have a hard time. She's going to have to call her kid to come over. And hopefully that kid is like 13 years old and actually likes to help her. That's if she's lucky. I'm not sure, but I think this wrench is starting to strip out already. This is really cheap, but the wrench itself might be stripping out already, and that might be part of my problem, why things are falling off. But so far, it feels really sturdy. You know, and I don't even have things tightened up yet, and I keep dropping the wrench, and I keep dropping bolts. I'm extremely frustrated with the process. Yeah, I'm definitely stripping out this wrench. It's not the nuts, it's the wrench itself. Okay, the next shelf. Again, I'm going to lay it down flat, and we're going to try to get the next shelf installed. So this shelf here is the upper shelf. But once this is all put together, this should be pretty nice. So again, I'm going to start on the upper one right here. I'm going to start in the middle one. Get that one started. And then I can start working my way around on the other ones. Just finger tight for now until we can get everything on. We're going to go over here and get this one started too. Oh, I dropped it. Try again. Try another one. And I dropped that one too. This is fun. Okay. That one started at least. Wow. Not what I was expecting when I ordered this thing. And I mean, I understand why we have to do assembly. This is just a lot more than I expected. Okay, come on, you. There we go. That one went right in. Nice. I'm actually starting to break a sweat doing this. See if I can get this last one here. Oh, the last one slid right in there. That was beautiful. I wish it happened like that all the time. Those are all started. I'm not going to officially tighten them yet until I get all this together. Then I'll run around and double check everything. Okay. I'm starting to get worn out here. So I got one more of these to get on there and hopefully not drop it on the floor again for the 100th time. And they say in the instructions to make sure you go around and make sure everything's good and tight. But just trying to get these things started is just a pain. And the tools that they give you aren't the greatest. Okay, that one's tight. That one's tight. Come on. Slippery little thing. And they fall out of my hand again. I mean, you'd almost think that I got dexterity issues. And I don't. It's just these things are really small. Okay. Everything else is tightened up. This is kind of what it looks like. We're almost there. So as far as the frame assembly is concerned, this here should be the last piece. Now I got to figure out the orientation of this piece. Now this is the piece that the longer nuts and bolts go to, is this rod that crosses here. Now this is an adjustment here. If you loosen this up a little bit, you should be able to slide one of these ends out. Here it is. That way when you go back and forth and you adjust it to the size of your sink, you get it to wherever you want it, and then you tighten this down and that locks it in place. That's how the mechanism works. And this is the lock. This piece is a little better to get on, mainly because these things are on the outside, and you can actually get a finger on there and get it somewhat started without a whole lot of trouble. And I dropped the wrench again, because the wrench is like, it's like trying to hold a salmon. Yeah, it's really, really slippery. Come on, it shouldn't be that hard to get in there. What's going on? I know I'm not cross-threaded, or at least I hope I'm not. So the other side of this wonderful piece. See if we can get this started. Okay. See, that one started real nice. That one there as well. That one went in real nice. So the only thing I'm not looking forward to is like one of these little nuts up here just falling down and going down the drain and then not having it. I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue because these things don't move around a lot. You just stack dishes in them. So I'm having to alternate between the top and the bottom. I tighten one and the other one starts getting loose, and I got to tighten the other one, and you got to just go back and forth. So this is the problem one here. I'm not sure why it's acting all fussy because it's pretty well screwed in there, and it's not wanting to do what I want it to do, which is just go in the hole. So we're going to loosen this one up a little bit. See if I can get these threads started. They're not the best threads in the world. They're not the cleanest threads I've ever worked with. Yeah. So that one there might be all I'm going to get out of it. Well, it might go all the way now, or close to it. And the reason I'm using it like this is because this end is already, I don't know if you can see that, it's already starting to strip out. So if I start to use this end, it's just going to spin. It just spins right out. It doesn't even turn. Now these are the longer ones. I'm not worried about them falling out like the other short ones up top. But I wish they had a little bit better hardware. It's a better tool that came with it. But as far as looks are concerned, I really do like the way this thing looks. All right, the hardest part for me right now is I got to get this other one completely out of the way. That means I got to unload all the dishes and put them away and find a spot for all this stuff. And hey, I made a ham tonight. Whew. Okay, we're just about there. So now I got to get this one in place, and hopefully it'll actually adjust the way I want it to, because it gave me a little bit of a fit earlier. So I got to pull from the top and the bottom to try to get this thing to adjust right. Why is this thing fighting me? Let's set it down. We're going to kind of stand on it. There we go. That should have gave me enough. So I had to actually put my feet in there to get this thing to do anything that I wanted it to do. I'm still not quite far enough. I need to go a little further. So it's got these adjustment feet on the bottom here, and I'm surprised there's no suction cups. That's one thing that the other one did have, and in order to make this thing stable, I'm going to have to adjust these feet up somehow. They'll spin really easy. Now something else you need to do once you get to this point here is you need to tighten this thing down. That way it won't randomly stretch on you. Not like it will, because that thing was dang near jammed on there. Go put a level on it. See where we're at. So right now that's tipped back a little bit. Okay, that's about right. All right, now I got to grab all the accessory pieces and get them in order and try to put them in an area that I wanted to. Now, one thing I was hoping, and so far so good, is I wanted to be able to clear my faucet. And so far, it just barely rubs a little bit. I have a very tall faucet, by the way. I think it's like 18 inches from here to there. So if that's a problem for you, you know, definitely try to figure that distance out from up here down to there. I'll go grab a tape measure and we'll check that out with a tape measure. Got one. All right, let's see how far that is. So my faucet is just barely touching the bottom rack. I'll stick you through here if I can to get a better measurement. Okay. So that's about 17 inches and 3/4, 17 and 3/4 inches to the bottom of the lowest rack, just for those people that are interested in how high it is, because a lot of these racks, they don't tell you exactly how high they are before you buy them. Some of them do, but most of them that do, they're a lot lower. They're a lot lower racks. And I was having a problem when I was ordering this one, so I basically just shot in the dark when I ordered this one. I did like the expanding feature, how it comes back and forth. All right, let's get all the goodies and try to get them up here and see how it's going to look when it's all together. So it comes with a bunch of these little hooky-doos. These little hooks. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 of those hooks. I should have installed these while it was on the table. So I'm probably going to take this back down, put it on the table, and put these in. These are for the pots and pans that go up top. I think this way here is going to be much easier to show you there. But I got a bunch of these. And they go in these little grooves in here. So all you do is you pinch them in, and then you try to find your slot. There's a whole bunch of slots all the way down. So I'm going to put the first 2 on the very last slots. Now this can also be a great way to store your pots and pans, or at least some of your pans, because I got a whole bunch of pans over here just hanging out. And if you need to, you can just widen these up or narrow them down just a little bit. But for right now, I'm just trying to get them in place just to get a feel for it. And then we'll put some pots and pans up here in a little bit and see how that works. So these all fit just like that. Everything's crooked now. Everybody's learning what in the world am I doing today? This thing is extremely light, by the way. It doesn't weigh a lot. I can grab some of these pots and pans and show you what this looks like. So that's how that's going to go. So that worked out pretty good. I like that. You can tip these up. That holds it really nice, guys. I like that, how that works. So far, so good. Everything's starting to come along. So now if I decide to wash my crock pot, I can actually set the crock pot like right up in here. And then I can put all my dishes right through here pretty easily compared to the other one where I was having a problem with this area right here. I was having a problem actually just getting the dishes in there to set. Let's grab a couple plates, or at least a plate. I'm gonna grab one of my son's plates, which is a little bit bigger. We're gonna set this in here. Okay, that's not too bad. I like that. Now, if you have children, you know what I'm talking about. You have various size dishes and plates that need to fit up in there. That's not bad. That felt pretty easy to do. When you put a little bit of weight on here, this doesn't feel bad at all, because there's a lot of parts and pieces to this thing. It's all starting to come together. Now, this was something my wife kind of missed off the last one that we had, because it didn't have one of these. And I need to figure out where this is supposed to go, because there's really no obvious spot. I think this is actually supposed to sit on the side. So maybe this goes over here, because the folds are really thin. So I got to figure out how to get those on here. So that way my wife has a place to hang the cups, because she liked taking the children's cups, which are really small, by the way, setting them right there. So now she has one of those again. So we can either have it on this side, or we could put it on this side over here. But either way, we have it back, so that's important to me. This is for the knives. So you put the knives in these little slots, and they just hang kind of freely down here. And then you have this face here to cover them up. That normally went right about here somewhere. Now this here is typically used for like cutting boards and stuff like that. You can mount it on the inside, or you could mount it on the outside, however you like to do it. But you got to move that over. And then that'll set just like that. And this one here, oh, this is the only damaged part. Wow, this little basket here, it got pretty messed up. Can you guys see that? I mean, wow, that is a little special there. But the nice thing about this piece is I don't really need it. So that's positive thinking there. I don't have to have it. And I also have a lot of these little baskets and stuff on the other one that I can mess with and hopefully use. So I'm not even going to sweat that. But my point is, it's like something did get damaged. I could return it, but I'm not going to waste my time. Now this is one of those little things that I had from a dish drainer, and I just keep it around, because it typically like sits like that on all of our other ones, and that way we can put extra things in it. But now since I have this basket here, I don't really need it as much, because we have, looks like we got some pretty decent spaces to put some stuff here. Now these little guys, I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to want to put all of these, because normally we hung our utensils right over here. I'm not sure how well these are going to work. I think you hang them from the back. Okay, this will work out nice. It's starting to come together. Now I just need to see if I can find a home for this little guy. And I think I could actually just put this one right up here. That way it's up, it's out of the way. I don't see any viable places on the inside to put it. Now another option this thing did come with, this is an optional option in my opinion. This is a paper towel holder. So if you wanted paper towels, say right next to your sink, which I don't think is a good idea, because a lot of water splashes around your sink. So you can just set that on there, and you can put paper towels on that if you really wanted to. I don't see a reason to, because I don't want my paper towels right next to my water. That makes no sense to me at all. So let me get this thing buttoned up, and I'll let you know what I think of it overall. Okay, we got it somewhat set up now the way I want it. I always store my cutting board right there. It kind of works as a backsplash as well. So this also works as a shelf, just like the other one, but now I have a place to take all the pots and pans that I had. They were stacked over here. I really had no place to put them, and they seem to sit up here quite nicely. I got 2 cast iron pans, and then I got my other nice ceramic coated pans there. It gives me a place to put the tea kettle. So whenever I'm washing the crock pot, I can finish that and I can put the crock pot up there. This thing should hold a lot of weight. It's really not rickety. And it already has a lot of weight up here at the cast iron skillets. The only downside to this was a little bit of problems with the assembly. I did need some extra tools. I had some needle nose pliers. One of my other extra tools was a flathead screwdriver because the mechanism itself was stuck, so I had to kind of wiggle it back out. Now the tools that came with the product itself, these are really, really inexpensive. This tool was absolute trash now. I can't use it for anything else. I might as well just throw it away. And then the little wrench, it's real tiny wrench. It's one that comes with a lot of these products that we order off of Amazon. So you might have like 20 or 30 of these sitting in your junk drawer. Now when I was done putting everything together, I did have one of each pieces of hardware. I got a long one and I got a short one here. And I also had an extra little nut. So that's what you can expect. I'm guessing you could probably expect this too. If I wanted to, I could send this back and get it replaced, but I really don't care. It's just a little tiny metal basket. And it's just unfortunate that it came damaged. I'm not even sure where I would have put this. If I want to, I can try to bend this back into shape. It's not a big deal. But hey guys, if you're interested in more honest reviews, please let me know down in the description section below. There will be an affiliate link for this product. I do like it. I like the way it looks. I mean, it works better than expected. I can say that much. Even though I went through a frustrating process, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a frustrating process to try to put things together. Okay, but the way it looks over there, sitting on my kitchen counter, I can kind of enjoy it. I also know that I'll have plenty of room to put the entire slew of things that I like to have, cook with. My kids make a mess with cooking their food and their dishes, so now I'm going to have plenty of room to put stuff up there to dry, and I can even store my pots and pans up top. That is a winner for me. So, okay guys, as always, I hope to see you guys in the next one.